What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some Raid Shadow Legends. Of course, it is Friday, so it's time for our weekly episode of Free to Play Friday. Been a pretty crazy week for Raid with all the stuff going on with Twitch. Ninja, of course, all that stuff going on there. We'll talk a little bit about that here in a bit. We're just finishing up some arena fights here after reset. Went ahead and spent all of my arena tokens there. You can see we saved up 460 gold medals. We are still working on our arbiter missions, so we need those gold medals to go ahead and build up our Great Hall. So looks like we are going to get a energy pack tonight, which is kind of nice, and we're going to get our mystery shard here. But let's go in here. There's so many packs in the shop now, it's hard to keep track of everything going on here. So let's go ahead and grab that. We'll have some more energy to use later on this evening. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just grab it because I'm pretty much done with all the daily stuff we want to do anyways. Let's go ahead and yank that one too. Just got a couple daily quests left. Campaign boss, artifacts, level up, and then use some energy here. We don't have an XP boost right now, so we've been kind of doing some other stuff besides farming food. We can check the portal here. We actually do still have Burst Off the Grim to go ahead and pull. I've been debating if I wanted to pull him yet, because I'm trying to think if he'll help me out with the spider, and I think it's possible he might at some point, but I'm trying to wait until there is a Summon Rush event to kind of get some points, since when you're on a free-to-play account, you kind of have to take advantage of where you can get your points from, and having those champions in the Summon Portal is kind of a good thing to be able to pull them whenever there's an event that it can help you advance in. We got a bunch of stuff here in the Forge, kind of holding on to this for clan versus clan next week, because we'll probably wind up selling most of this. But we actually, I think, did get some, we can make some 4 to 5 star untouchable, which might be helpful. But most of this will probably just forge for clan versus clan points next week. Kind of a cool thing today, we've just been farming Minotaur pretty much the entire day. I was able to get Sylar's Masteries fully completed. Now I just need to get her into a stun set. We've been talking about that for a couple weeks now, and I did a little bit of farming today in the Fire Knight, but we just don't have a whole lot of stun gear on this. Oh, we have some new Relentless pieces too. So we have picked up a couple Savage pieces, but you can see here we just don't really have a whole lot of stun gear on this account. And what I do need is I actually do need stun gear that has accuracy substats for her, because we need to keep her accuracy pretty high so she can land her other debuffs, and we just don't have really anything that's going to help us out in that category. We don't, I believe, have any accuracy banners either. That would be helpful, because that would allow us to actually have to gear a little less for accuracy with the gear that she's got there. But here's the roster, pretty much the same as it's been. We're having some trouble getting through the Arbiter missions. We'll talk about that here in a second. Kind of related to the roster a little bit is that we just cannot seem to beat Spider 15, which is the Force Spider. No matter what I've tried, I've gotten her to about a quarter health, and I just cannot beat it before my team gets wiped. I have tried Visix. She's not really working out too well, even though we did give her some books. Scylla's kind of there. Aox has been okay there. I've tried using Infernal Baroness. Grush and Stagnite can both survive for quite a while, but they can't really do, at least in Stagnite's case, a lot of damage. Kale's one of our better damage dealers. He gets eaten alive by the spiders because it's force, negative affinity. And Armiger at this point is really not ready. Let's see, we've got him almost fully booked, but by himself, he's honestly not that great. He can keep the turn meter down, but again, at some point, he just gets overwhelmed by the spiderlings. I've tried using Battle Sage for the cleanse. She's just doesn't have any books yet, so she's really not that useful. And we can roll her gear up, make her a little bit faster. That might help. Tomb Lord would be very helpful there, but again, no books on him, so it's kind of, useless. He doesn't really do a good job there. So we're trying to figure out a way to get through the spider. We just brought Jareg up to 6 stars, but that's more for clan boss. And I'm thinking I may actually try my next 6 star as Reliquary Tender, since she does have a cleanse and she's got a res. And we really need to re-gear her out of this Relentless we have her in, because she's just not very tanky at this point. And she's also still just 5 stars, so that's kind of the problem there. And we do have Ruel the Huntmaster, who I'm wondering if he might be pretty decent there, like especially against some of those spiders. So Vogoth we have, who would be a great option, but of course we don't have the gear, we don't have the books quite yet. And I'm at the point on this account where it's like, if I get a champion, even if they're a really good champion, if I don't have the gear or the books, it's like, I'm not going to waste silver. I'm not going to waste time putting stuff on him. I did put this ring on him just for, I don't know why. I guess I was kind of messing around, thinking I was going to start building him. But that's kind of where we are now. We are bringing up a shield guard. He might be helpful in the spider with the kit that he has. And he's very easy to book out, so that's one thing we have been working on. But not much has really changed with the roster. We got a lot of 40s here that we haven't used. We picked up a Broad Maw from a Void Shard this week, which is very unfortunate. We finally got a Void Shard to drop from the Nightmare Clan boss. And I'm like, 11 months, can I have a Cold Heart? Can I have a decent Void Epic? Can I have a Legendary maybe at this point? And no, we get a Fusion Champion that's already in the game. I hate the fact that these champions can even be pulled from shards, so it's kind of annoying. We do have a lot of 3-star food we can start working on. Here's our vault. Just basically our champions. We're still waiting on that last rare to get rosin fused, of course. So, it's only been 4 or 5 months on that one. So again, just having a little bit of trouble here lately on this account. Just being able to progress through a few things. So that's kind of where we are there. Now we did get a new legendary, and this is Ninja. This is the champion that we got as part of the promotion with him in the game, being the big Twitch streamer that he used to be. He's no longer nearly at the level he was when he was with Fortnite. We did have the stream on Monday with Ninja. It was about an hour long. I think it peaked a little over 4,000 viewers, so probably not what Plarium was expecting. I think they, for some reason, thought they were getting like peak Fortnite Ninja. They were going to have like 100,000 plus people show up, but it was about 4,000, and probably half of them were from the raid community. Very interesting stream. I think it's great that they're doing this. They're trying to promote the game, but the stream itself was kind of rough because, as usual, the people that do the sponsored stuff for raid, the ad reads, they always say, "Oh, I love this game. I play this game all the time. It's a great game, etc., etc." But then when they actually have to display it, you can tell immediately they've never actually touched the game in their entire life, and they're only doing it for the money. This was actually the case with Ninja. He said in his interviews that he played raid. Raid's his go-to game. He plays it all the time when he's traveling. He didn't even know how to use the simple aura skill that you had to put that champion in the lead slot. He did not know where the Dragon's Dungeon was. He didn't know he could scroll to the right or left and find more stuff on some of the maps. It was just very awkward. They were very ill prepared. I thought it was actually kind of bad on Plarium's part because they just kind of threw him to the wolves and said, "Here's a loaded out account. Go show your champion off a little bit." I mean, he's running through stuff with champions that don't even have gear on them. And then when he went to try to gear some of the champions, it was pretty hilarious. What he wound up doing, he was doing like 2 million damage on the dragon with his champion, thinking that was a lot. And I'm over here like, I want to go in the chat and be like, it's cute. You think that's a lot of damage when, there's rare champions that do more than that. But I didn't want to be a troll. So I was like, I'm just going to stay out of the chat. I'm just going to watch it and see what happens. But I don't really think they're going to wind up getting much from him kind of showing off the game. Now, talking about his champion, I think his champion is actually really, really good for new players. It's kind of cool that if you sign up now to play the game within the next, it's July, so you've got 3 months to play the game and pick him up. You just have to play for 7 days and you get him for free. It's a free legendary. So I see a lot of in-game players who are saying he's trash, he's terrible, but obviously if you're at the end game, you're going to have an entire roster full of legendary characters. They're not going to give you a broken champion for free. And I think a lot of people are missing the point. Unfortunately, when you get a lot of people making content for a game who are already at max level, who have all the maximum champions, who spend thousands of dollars on the game, they're going to get something and they're going to just be like, it sucks. There's no way they're going to be happy with that because it's just, in their mind, there's no way it can be more effective than anything they already have. But if you're a brand new player to the game and you're coming in and getting a free legendary right off the bat, that's pretty cool. And I'm not going to sit here and go through his kit because you guys can kind of do that yourselves, but he's got a really decent kit for account progression early on in the game. From what I've seen with some of the newer players in our clan, he hits incredibly hard on clan boss right out the gate, even with no masteries. So he's actually been helping a lot of people up their clan boss damage by 2 or 3 million a key, which doesn't sound like much, but that can make a big difference, especially when you are early in the game. And your first week in the game gives you a legendary character. He doesn't really need books. He takes 13 books, I believe, and some people are kind of complaining about that, saying, he takes a lot of books. But if you look at, I think Scylla the Drakes, I'm trying to remember how many she needs. Yeah, she needs a decent amount of books. I think she takes 11. and she's considered one of the better legendaries you get as a free-to-play character about 6 months in. So it's somewhat comparable. It's not quite the same, but you're getting Ninja within the first week of the game. Whereas with Syl, you have to wait 6 months. I'm not saying he's as good as her, but he's not terrible like a lot of people are saying. So pretty decent champion that you get, and we've been over the art. We went over that the other day. But I honestly have not had a chance to use him yet. I've used him on my main account. I actually did put him in a Relentless set on that account, and he seems to be pretty cool. You know, I think it's a neat looking champion. I like the design, the arm, the bow, everything looks cool. His animations are really solid too. Again, middle of the road legendary, which is really, really going to be good for a brand new player to the game to have that to use. That's going to give you on day 7 a pretty amazing clan boss champion. Even at level 50, he's going to do some pretty decent damage there. So I haven't really decided what we're going to do with him on this account. We'll probably throw a little bit of gear on him at some point and try to work him in. Of course, we also do have Saito, who's the other the YouTuber guy that this guy was based on, who luckily for him got a much better graphic design, at least for his face. So another legendary we just don't have the resources to build yet, but we may try to bring up for the arena at some point. So anyways, that's what my quick little, I just wanted to kind of get my thoughts on the whole Ninja thing. And I think overall, for what he's designed for, I think he's good. It was basically designed for, you know, bring new players into the game, let them get a free legendary. Hey, if you've been playing the game for a while, a couple of months, or even like a month or two, or a year, you know, here you're going to get a free legendary champion. And you can't really complain about a free legendary champion because usually you have to do a lot of work to get any of the fusion legendaries. So, I mean, people are going to complain either way. Unfortunately, that's kind of how games are these days. But you know, it's nice when they do stuff like that and you get a free legendary champion. I'm not going to complain about it. Yeah, he may not be the best legendary in the game, but that's not something they're going to give you for free. So you kind of have to temper your expectations a little bit with that, especially if you are an in-game player. Either way, let's go ahead and level up something here because we have to do our quest. Of course, I start rambling on too much about this stuff there, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll use them at some point. Now, they also did a pretty big Twitch takeover. I think it was on Tuesday, where they had a bunch of Russian and Spanish sponsored streamers, and I think Raid was like over 180,000 viewers on Twitch, which for them is massive. It's way, way beyond anything they ever get normally on a daily basis. Unfortunately, I noticed that a lot of the streamers that were doing it, instead of actually saying they were doing Raid, they just put on their like sponsored ad. They didn't even want to put the name of the game on there, which, again, I talk about this a lot. This game, unfortunately, does get memed on quite a bit outside the community, and there's a lot of people that, quite honestly, just don't want to be associated with it. So, you know, I kind of get it to a degree, but at the same time, it's kind of annoying, and that's why I was hoping that Plarium would have done a better job promoting the Ninja thing so that we could get some more positivity about the game out in the community, and it wouldn't continue to be viewed as like this giant meme all the time. But you know, it is what it is. You know what, I'm going to go ahead and throw a couple of these in here, get a 4-star going at least. We do have 1 5-star chicken, but we got to start making some more food. And unfortunately, like I said, we don't have an XP boost active right now, so we kind of just have to make do with what we can. We'll go beat a campaign boss here. Let's see what we got. We got another mystery shard. Looks like we got something in this event here. I've actually been pushing these events here a little bit. You can see champ training, we're going to get a rare book, which would be nice for clan versus clan next week. We do have dungeon divers active. We're almost to a 3-star chicken. We'll be doing some fire night farming a little bit later. There's also artifact enhancement going on, which once we get some silver saved up, we'll at least try to get this 100 energy, maybe that rare book from that event. A couple of tournaments going on too, even though there's really no fusions or anything going on. We got the Fire Night tournament. We were doing a little bit of farming there earlier. We got to 237. What's weird is like this is actually fairly competitive. On my main account, there's hardly anybody doing it, so I'm actually easily in first place back on that account. Champion Chase is kind of coincides with the 2x Sacreds this weekend, so unfortunately we're not able to take down on that. We already did the arena takedown all the way to the top, so we got some energy earlier today. That plus the energy we got from Doom Tower, we were able to do a lot of that Minotaur farm, which I was talking about earlier on Sylar. So taking a look at the Arbiter missions, this is kind of where we're stuck. I have been trying for about a week to at least even clear this once, and we just cannot do it with the current champions that we have. So I'm going to have to re-gear, retool, figure something out. That was kind of why we wanted to finish Sylar's Mastery, so we can get a little more turn meter control from her. And hopefully at some point we can get through this, because we've got the next one finished. We've got the 9 already done on Great Hall. Stage 15 of Spirit Keeps, that's pretty much easy. And then we've got enough potions saved up here to do all of these ascensions. And I left specifically characters at 5-star ascensions so we'd be able to go through. So as soon as this is open, it's just going to be a matter of when the keeps are open, we'll be getting all these done. And that's a lot of void shards. So hopefully at least one of those is going to have a champion that will be helpful for our account. Either our first void legendary besides Visix, or finally, hopefully, that Cold Heart we've been wanting for a while. And then we're going to get this one done here pretty soon. So we pretty much have a lot of this done. Then we're going to run into the issue of the level 17 dungeons. Ice Golem and Dragon were already good. We have those done through 20. Fire Knight we've cleared through 15. I think we'll be okay there because we're starting to build some champions for it. Spider again is going to be the problem. And of course these clan boss missions are going to be a little tricky. We're going to probably have to buy some keys with gems, and you can see here we don't have any gems, so what we're going to wind up having to do is just save a lot of these gems and just unfortunately buy clan boss keys with them. And then we got stage 20 dungeons. Again, Fire Knight, Spider are going to be the big ones holding us back there. And then we're almost there. We're getting close. It's just if we get through Spider 15, we could knock a whole lot more of these out at this point. So it's just kind of tough right now, but we'll try our best to figure it out here. All right, let's go in and do a couple of boss fights here. See if there's anything that we can get for a speed drop, and then we should have a clan boss key up and ready to go, so we can go in and try to see how they can do today. I think our Nightmare boss is already down for the day. That's kind of the cool thing now with the clan, is we are downing Nightmare, we're downing Ultra Nightmare every single day, so getting the double chest reward, which is pretty cool. This is useless 3-star. We're not really too concerned with that. But now my issue is, even though we're getting 2x Nightmare chest every single day, I'm just not getting anything good from it. Like I said, that Void Shard we got the other day was probably the first shard I'd had in 2 weeks out of the Nightmare chest. So it's rough. You know, a lot of people, we always think, oh man, we're finally going to get to 2-3 key Nightmare. It's going to be awesome. We're getting 2 times the chest drops, and then you don't get anything for about 2 weeks. You know, RNG is a cruel mistress. All right, I believe that's 3. So we'll get that finished up. And let's see if we have a clan boss key we can kind of run here. We do have 1. See, Nightmare is already done. We are at 23 million so far. So we're probably going to have to 4 key it today. I actually was able to hit 2 keys on Void and did not do as well as I thought I would earlier. This is going to be interesting because it is magic, so we'll see how this goes. We have the 2 Force guys in here, and eventually at some point we'll be able to bring some substitutions in for Grush whenever he's weak affinity. Like we could bring Jareg in here, but he's not. His masteries aren't done yet, so I really don't want to bring him in at this point. But let's just go ahead and roll with it, and we'll see how this goes. We know that Grush is going to eat the stun for us here, so hopefully Frozen Banshee will be able to do some work, and we can get Aox to do some work here as well. So if you guys are kind of watching along for the first time, this is kind of a mixed team here. We have Grush, the Mangler. He's in, I think, accuracy and perception set, mainly to get accuracy and land his leech debuff here. Frozen Banshee's still in lifesteal. Skullcrusher is still in lifesteal. Aina is in Relentless set to get extra turns. Then we have Aox, who I believe is in mostly perception gear for his accuracy to land his debuffs. This team is kind of built around just landing a lot of debuffs on the clan boss, and then Aox is able to extend those whenever they get hit with an attack. And we do have some lifesteal gear still on this team, because even though Grush does have the leech debuff, which you can see there, is up for 2 more turns here, that does not do enough healing by itself to really make up for the loss you get when you don't have the lifesteal gear, unless you have another champion that's specifically healing your team. And while we do have that with Aox, it's not usually enough to get us at least to the 20 turn limit that we try to hit. But you can see here, it's with Aox in there, we really don't have much of an issue keeping a lot of these debuffs going up on the clan boss. So that's kind of the way this team is built, and this was the team that finally allowed me to start getting the top chest on Nightmare, and we're not quite ready to start working on Ultra Nightmare yet, but that's kind of why we're building up Jareg so we can get a second ally protection champion into this team, and he's probably going to replace Aina, even though she does do quite a bit of damage for us. She has a tough time surviving. Even with decent gear, her stats, base stats for defense, are a little bit low. So even though like with Frozen Banshee we were able to get her to almost 3,500 defense, we're having a little bit of trouble with Aina. She's pretty squishy, so she usually doesn't make it past turn 14 or 15, regardless of the affinity. If it's force, yeah, she's definitely going to die by usually turn 14. But the other affinities, it doesn't really matter. She might make it to 15 or 16. But she is probably the weakest in terms of survivability on our team, so that's why we want to try to get someone like Jareg in there to replace her. He'll have that additional attack down utility as well, and he's in a poison set, so he'll provide a little bit of extra damage with that. But kind of a cool team, you know, very free-to-play friendly team. I mean, it's on a free-to-play account. Obviously, Skull Crusher, we pulled him within the first month of this account, so that was definitely a blessing. Grush is a login champion you get who's very good, that a lot of people sometimes overlook. Frozen Banshee, just someone like I'll usually say, just pull mystery shards all the time. You know, you never know, you might get that Frozen Banshee, you might get that Apothecary, so that's kind of where she helped us out. But you can see there, Aina drops at turn 14, that's kind of where we have that issue. It's like, you can see Grush here also is getting pretty low. This is the magic boss, but we're already at 10 million damage. That's pretty good. That's on our pace to get a 4 key today, which those 2 keys on Void were a little bit lower earlier, so that's kind of what we were just going to have to expect. But I think Skull Crusher and Aox can last pretty long here, along with Frozen Banshee, so we will see. So we do, oh wow, we lost her there on turn 17, so that is the problem with squishy damage champions. They just, you know, they fall down too quick. So we have a little bit of poison left up on here. I think we're going to manage to get over 20 turns. We still do have Leech up on the clan boss. And with Skull Crusher in that lifesteal set, he should be able to get a couple more turns here. And we'll see if we can get close to 13 million. We're going to lose Aox there, of course. And then Skull Crusher usually can tough out a few more turns by himself. He's pretty beefy. And he clears that stun by himself too, which is pretty nice. He's got that unkillable on himself too. And, okay, didn't get enough healing there, so he's going to die here. All right, cool, but almost 13 million damage. Not too bad. And again, Frozen Banshee leading the way there. Usually that's what happens. Almost 7 million damage for her. Aox coming in with 2.3, which is pretty nice. And then Aina, kind of, like I said, really rough for her. She usually is out by about turn 14, so that's why we're working on getting a replacement in place for her. So let's see, where did we... Nope, it would help if I was on the right clan boss here. And we're almost done with Ultra Nightmare too, which is pretty cool. Alright, so 35.9, we should be able to easily get the top chest with our 4th key that we get in a little bit. It looks like we did get this advanced quest done, get some silver keys. So there we go. Alright, so we have 371 energy. So what I'm going to do, I am going to actually go into Fire Knight. And let's see, what are we going to... Probably farm stage 14, because we do have that down to like a minute 41. It's a little bit more efficient to do that versus 15 in terms of time. So I'm going to go in here. And we'll take our force guys out, I think, because obviously they're not going to do very well here. We've been using Defenshi. He's been coming in handy quite a bit for this. I'm trying to think of who else. Oh, Tomb Lord. Yeah, we're going to bring in Tomb Lord for his 3 hit on the shield. Don't really think I have anybody else magic that's going to be helpful here. So I will go ahead and set this up to start running. And then what I will do is come back once this is done and we'll finish up this episode. Alright guys, we are all done with our Fire Knight auto battles here. See if we got anything decent at all from any of this gear. I'm doubting it, but you never know. Unfortunately, we only got 1 stun piece to drop, and it is sadly a flat defense chest, so not really anything good there. couple of Savage pieces here. Not really anything. We did get speed on that one at least, but really, I guess we could go. It's flat HP. Really nothing here that we're going to want to keep at all. HP percent boots and shields that we may keep those, even though there's no speed substat. Those might be decent on a tank to get a set of crit rate gloves. But by and large, most of this stuff is pretty sad. So this is kind of the reality of farming on a free-to-play account. When you use all your energy, you usually don't get much in return for it. So unfortunately, we did not really get any good gear there from farming the Fire Knight, but we were able to at least finish out our daily quest. So let's go ahead and claim those gems. Probably should start saving our gems up since we are going to be having those clan boss missions pretty soon. I've just been trying to farm the arena a lot to get this to level 10. Once we get this accuracy to level 10, to get that last Arbiter mission with Great Hall medals done, I'll probably start stockpiling gems again and not using them to refresh the arena as much as I have been here. It's just with being in Gold 4 now, it seems like the what are they calling them, lost accounts or new player account segments, they're starting to be fewer and far between, it seems. It looks like the arena is kind of settling back to where it was before, so we're just going to do what we can for now to farm and get that up to level 10 before we completely lose the opportunity to farm up those gold medals. Looks like we are in 15th place here in the Fire Knight tournament, so 517, we're a little over 200 points out of 10th place, so we'll see how this goes over the weekend. Definitely want to hit the Fire Knight up a little bit more and try to get some more gear. The rewards honestly are not that impressive from any of these tournaments really, but we'll still push those a little bit and see how far we can get. So we do have an energy refill here that we can still grab. We can still do all of our advanced quests to get some more energy as well. Let's go ahead and grab these mystery shards when they show up in the shop here. But we still do have a couple of advanced quests here. We got Faction Wars, Tag Team Arena, Doom Tower, Classic Arena with Single Affinity, Unlock a Mastery, 1 Perception Artifact of the Forge. That's pretty easy to do. Go ahead and do that real quick here. And of course, we're just going to sell this. Like I said earlier, we're just basically going to hang on to a lot of this gear for later on so we can sell it during Clan versus Clan, which should be happening next week. And I think they're finally going to be introducing the personal rewards to that, which of course you still have to win the overall Clan versus Clan match in order to get those. So it's kind of pointless, but we'll see if those are any good. We're just going to be pulling our mystery shards here. It's always good to keep pulling these. You never know when you're going to get a decent rare champion to drop from that. Unfortunately, we do not have anything there. And as I mentioned before, we are still waiting on this one rare champion to farm Rosin Scarhide, or at least this epic here. And it's been, like I said, 5 months at this point that we've been waiting on this one rare champion, who I see everyone else pull like every single day. So it's just really getting frustrating how many new champions they keep putting into the game. It makes it harder and harder to actually be able to complete some of this older content that it was in the game before they started putting all these champions in. So getting a little bit annoyed by that. I just really would like to get Rosin completed because he's a really good champion. He's a great progression champion. He would really help out our account quite a bit. So kind of unfortunate there that we are just unable to get him. But that's kind of the nature of the beast, unfortunately, with this game. So that's pretty much going to do it for this episode, guys. Just wanted to get some content out there this week. It's been a rough week for me. Work has been incredibly busy. Haven't been sleeping too well this week either, so I've been trying to catch naps and really haven't had much of a chance to make any content at all this week. But that's kind of how it goes for me sometimes. When we get busy at work, we're getting ready to go into the 4th quarter here pretty soon, and it's going to be even busier. We always get busier toward the end of the year, so it gets kind of tough for me to keep up with YouTube at times. I do have a lot of cool stuff planned on the main account. We're doing a lot of stuff with the uncommon champions. I have a really fun surprise coming up with those pretty soon. I don't really want to spoil it yet because I'm still working on some of the components to the video I'm putting together on that. Faction Wars, we're actually almost done with that on our main account. I did complete 2 more factions this weekend, or this past weekend, and all we have left at this point are Undead and Night Revenant. The final stage 21 of those, we are 6 stars away from getting Lydia on our main account, so getting very close and hoping to get that done before Shadowkin comes out, and we have about 5 days before those crypts open, so gonna be working hard on that over on the main account. So that's another reason I haven't really been putting together much content there for videos or anything. We've just been so focused on trying to get that faction wars completed before Shadowkin comes out. Definitely need to do a update on the minimalist account. That's actually my favorite account to play right now. We've got a bunch more 6 stars made. We're working on getting masteries done, moving up in clan boss. Only about 3.5 months into the game on that account. We're already into the 3rd stage of arbiter missions. I'm further along on that account than I ever was on my main account or my free-to-play account. At any given time, just kind of knowing how to play the game now, focusing on that small core group of champions. It's really taught me a lot playing that account, that we don't need to have all these fancy epics and legendaries, that we can actually just use what the game gives us, even if we're not going after campaign farmable champions and other things. So definitely would like to try to get an update on that account out maybe this weekend. We'll see. So anyways, guys, that is going to do it for this episode. As always, if you have any questions about anything you saw, feel free to leave them down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to get you an answer as soon as I can. As always, I hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you again next time.